What's the difference between retail and corporate? So a lot of people ask me whether they are just in retail and want to move to corporate, or they're in corporate and they're wondering more about retail. What's the difference between the two? What's the difference between working in a brick and mortar store and actually working in the main corporate office? So let's cover retail first. Retail, you're going to have your constantly changing schedules. You're going to be working mandatory weekends, mandatory holidays. You're going to come up with your surprise morning meetings and nightly meetings. So this is, keep in mind, this is before the store opens and after the store closes. You're going to be there for either an hour or two later or an hour or two earlier. And then also you're going to have obviously face-to-face interactions with customers all day. And if you've dealt with the public before, you know how much fun that can be. Another thing you're going to deal with retail as far as schedules, and I've worked in a few retail settings before, and this has pretty much always been the same, depending on how big of a store you're in. If you're in a really big store, they actually have a night crew that comes in specifically to work overnights, that takes care of all your lining up the products and down stocking and all that stuff. But if you're working for a smaller company or in a smaller store, you're going to be doing that yourself. So let's say you're scheduled till 10 o'clock at night and the store closes at 10 o'clock at night. Now, even though I was in management before, I still see this as wrong. No matter what, whether you're on a busy night or a slow night or anything like that, once those doors close, you know that you're going to have work to do afterwards, so don't schedule your employees until 10 o'clock, because you know they're going to be working later. We have a life too, so plan for that. On any given night, you're going to be working anywhere from 15 minutes to 45 minutes. On some weekend nights, you're looking at maybe upwards of an hour, depending on how many people you have staffed that night, to get everything aligned and get everything down stocked. We have a life to plan for. So if you're scheduled till 10 o'clock, by all rights, you should be able to leave that building when that bell hits 10. Not expected to stay for 15, 30, 45 minutes, even an hour past that. Here's a reason for it though. Just like with anything, you're going to have a budget, and stores are no different. They're going to be budgeted so many hours that they can allocate to all the employees. So to make the books look good, they're only going to schedule those hours during the store opening. Anything after that, if they were to put in, let's say for a store, 12 employees for an extra half hour, that's going to be an extra 6 hours of labor that's going to take away from their budget after the store is closed. They don't want to do that. They want their budgets to look good, so their managers, district and territory and all that can look at those numbers and be like, oh, they're scheduled good. But the actual retail worker is the one that suffers, because they're trying to make their numbers look good on their hours while we have to stay later. Now, a lot of times, in my experience, employees will definitely kind of get up in arms on that, and rightfully so. If you're going to schedule me at a time, I want to leave at that time. Now, I understand that some clients come in, freaking douchebags, at 2 minutes before the store closes, and they're like, no, I just got one question. Well, 37 questions later, they're still sitting there ho-humming, oh, should I buy this product? Should I not buy this product? No, let me ask another 17 questions. So that's understandable. That's going to happen. I usually try and find out where they work. That way I can make it a point to frequent their place of work at 2 minutes before they close, and then do the same thing to them to show them how it feels. But as far as downstocking, things like that, that's an every night thing. You know what's going to happen. So that's something to pay attention to. Corporate's going to be a whole different ball game. So corporate, your changes are going to be, you're going to have different schedules available. You are going to have some schedules that are basically banker's hours, Monday through Friday, no weekends, no holidays, no late nights, no early mornings. But in another aspect, though, you are going to have schedules that have to meet the stores all across the country in different time zones to support them. So you are going to have overnight shifts, early morning shifts, things like that. Another nice thing, so it's going to be a lot more laid back atmosphere, though. You're not going to have the clients coming in and storming the doors at opening time and things like that. So it's going to be more laid back in that aspect. You're also going to have a lot more departments there. So it's not going to be like the store where you have your general manager, your assistant manager, warehouse, produce, clothing, things like that. You're going to have a lot more positions because you're dealing with a building with thousands and thousands of people in there. So you're going to have positions that you've never heard of before. So if you are thinking of making a move to corporate, I would definitely reach out to somebody. Even if you don't know somebody there, see if somebody else knows somebody there and talk to somebody there to see what would be a good fit for you and get a better understanding of the different positions that they do have listed. And the same goes for if you're at corporate thinking about going to the store for the first time, reach out to somebody so you have a better understanding of the responsibilities and expectations of the positions available. Now, one thing that you're not going to see in the stores is you're not going to see, when you're in the store, no matter what store, what company you work for, when you have a new policy or a new plan or anything like that, you are just going to come in one day and get an email or a training or something of the new plan. But when you're at corporate, that's where everything happens. So in the store, you don't see all the planning and the time and effort and everything that these things take. So at corporate, you really see the back end and the time. So if you're like me and you see an issue or something that's not working well and you want to fix it right now, corporate is definitely not the place for you. It's going to drive you batshit insane because corporate is going to take time. We joke around all the time that if you think you want something done, you just better expect it's going to take 6 months to a year to get that thing done. One thing, like I just mentioned, it's going to take a long time to get anything done. Something as simple as, and this has actually happened for a couple different companies already, if you want a chair, like they're going to have their normal office chairs, but if you want a chair because you have back issues, or let's say you want a stand-up desk, like one of those desks you see on TV that elevates so you can stand at your desk, it's not just something as simple as, hey, I want this. You actually have to go through a process, application, interview, all this stuff just to get it. And again, it's not going to be something that's going to happen overnight, the next day, the next week, or even the next month. This is going to take a while. And unfortunately, at least the companies that I've worked for, is they don't even allow you to just go buy your own stuff and bring it in. You have to go through them, which for me, again, I'm the kind of person that if I see an issue or have an issue, I want something done now, not 6 months from now. So I literally found a cardboard box that was laying around. I jacked the cardboard box and I put my keyboard and my mouse on top of the cardboard box. I put my monitors up on a shelf, and that was my custom desk, because I didn't want to go through all the red tape bullshit that it takes and wait 3 to 6 months to actually get something done. As far as getting anything done at corporate, so let's say you have an issue and you need to reach out to a different team. There's so many different teams. It's not like inside a store where you can walk to the other side of the building and talk to any and every manager in that building. You literally have to play the lottery, the email lottery. So you're gonna try and narrow it down somewhat, and you're gonna email this person, and just in case, you're gonna CC that person, and then you're gonna send that out, and if you're not right, they're gonna potentially forward it on and CC the person they think is right, and it's gonna keep on going further and further and further. And hopefully, if you get lucky, sooner or later you're going to get to the right person and they're going to respond to you. I've been in a situation many times where I don't get a response, or it's such a chain of emails. It's kind of like those text messages or emails or Facebook things you get where, oh my gosh, you gotta send this to 10 people before the end of the day, or the world's gonna end, or some shit like that. Same thing, you're gonna send it out to 10 people and hope you get a response, but chances are people are gonna view that as nothing that they care about or pertains to them, so they're not gonna give a shit enough to forward it on. So good luck getting the answer that you want. Alright guys, quick recap. If you're driving a BMW 5 Series, you got a suit and matching briefcase and alligator shoes, and you like to play the corporate politics and all that fun stuff, and you're not worried about getting stuff done overnight, and you're fine with waiting 6 months to a year, corporate's for you. If you want the hustle and to keep moving, and you don't care about the weekends, the holidays, and dealing with people face to face all the time, and late nights, early mornings, things like that, retail's not so bad. But anyways, this is pretty much just my experience of corporate and retail experience. And if you do have any questions, like I said, leave a comment in the section below and I'll definitely get back to you. My next video is going to be regarding what's the best company to work for and why. So stay tuned, keep an eye out for it, and thanks again for watching.